Hello and welcome to the show. It is a very exciting day indeed, as I am going to get to show you the BeamNG Drive and Automation crossover. I'm actually going to get to drive some of the mad vehicles that I have created in automation. We have two spawn in for you here. This is the V8 Hatchback, Beaky as I have called it, with some 400 odd horsepower going through the front wheels. We have another V8 alongside it. This was the V8 supercar. It's actually built as close to the specs of the official V8 supercars as I could get it, and actually got remarkably similar in terms of power output and weight and so on. I think a good place to start would be our V8 hatchback. Now, it does have, I mean, when I built the car, and you can actually see, so first thing of note, lights work, etc. But, so this I built with assists. I built this car to have assists on it. You can turn them off. I am able to turn the electronic stability stuff off on the car. However, this was built with no assist at all in mind, and there's not the option even to have it on there. So what you do in terms of the bits that you put on the car is going to affect the stuff that you can then do when they get imported into Beam. Now, the circuit, the level that we are driving around, this is the automation test track. Now, when I test cars in automation, I tend to go to the Top Gear test track, simply because it is a venue, if you like, that we all know, that we've all seen before, and you've got real world cars to kind of jokingly compare the vehicles to. Of course, I don't know how accurate the airfield track is in terms of length and distance, compared to the actual Top Gear circuit, but it's fun to compare it to because you've actually got a reference point. However, the game's default is this particular. It's quite an interesting looking circuit, and well, now we get to drive around it. So far, I mean, I'm liking it as a track to drive around. I'm presuming that looks like a sort of service road. There is more to the map as well other than this track. I think there's a little rally stage and so on to go exploring around. There's a big old dam if you want to go play with that. Oh, I might have lost the back end of my car. We maybe possibly need a mighty wing. We may possibly, at 100 and something miles an hour, it does get a little bit sketchy. I mean, perhaps it's not so surprising. Perhaps not so surprising that it does get a little bit sketchy. Sure, it's a front-wheel drive car. You do still need some rear downforce. I can't remember what it reckons the top speed of this vehicle was. I don't remember at all. Even with all of the assists on, even with the electronic assists going, this is having a tough time reining in all of its power. We're never making that corner. Nope, we're just going to go, and you know what? It's fine. I think we're allowed to do that. It's the FailRace industry standard line right there. A little bit of gravel. I mean, it adds a little to the test. You've got to deal with some gravel and whatnot. That sort of stuff. I'm going to go with that. Actually, that's a very tight chicane. As far as a test track goes, this has got quite a lot of. Well, it's got just about everything you could want. It's got some elevation change. You can see what we're coming up to here. Oh, I might have overheated our brakes slightly. We might need slightly better brakes. I should also say that I'm playing a kind of early access version of this, and I am sure those brakes are having troubles now. I'm sure it'll go through plenty of revisions even once it is out for the general public, tweakings here and there. The brakes don't seem to. Maybe it was just a kind of a one-off, a tight section of track. We gave the brakes some issues. Shall we turn off the electronic assists and see how mad the car is without any of them? It does have a limited slip diff, so we should be, if we manage to ping a wheel off, we would at least be able to continue onwards. Oh god, let's try and slow you down. It doesn't turn off the ABS. I presume if you build a car so that it doesn't have ABS as standard, I presume it then won't transfer over with ABS. In fact, I would imagine potentially the V8 supercar probably wouldn't have. I don't know if I saw a smoke. Sometimes trying to see if there is smoke coming out of the front of the vehicle is a little bit difficult. It kind of blends into the scenery very easily. I don't know. I think maybe with all the assists on, we were having trouble getting this power down to get up to speed. We were doing 140 miles an hour in our car here. Oh, the brakes didn't like me trying that one. Sorry, brakes. Sorry, brakes. We might need to get some bigger brakes on this. I think like this is the important testing stage. Like it's all very well having the stats and the figures up there, you know, in the automation lab telling you, you know, you've got overly excessively powerful brakes, and then when you take it out on a track 2 laps and they start getting a little bit warm and there's sort of smoke coming off of them, holy crap, are they some jumps. They look like some jumps. Ignore the lap giving up. Don't worry too much about the lap times. Let's go and play with some let's go and play. That's a bit bumpy over there. Oh, I mean, suspension's doing okay. Are they jumps or are they just like random inclines? I mean, I'm sure we'll be able to get some airtime in the car if we attack it at, you know, quick enough speeds. It's got a pretty good turn of pace about it. I was not surprised, let's face it. I know what engine I put in this 400 horsepower V8 is pretty good going. Okay, so we've got like a little, I guess this is the more sort of technical area we can go around. I want to just launch the car. Random infield bits look prime car launching. Okay, well we'll go for this one because I've got the turning to go for this one. Car launching, and V8 hatch has had a little bit of a ding. So, as cool as it is, of course, to be able to drive your vehicles in, well, just as cool as it is to be able to drive your vehicles full stop from automation. One of the big things with Beam, naturally, is vehicle damage. Now, let's be honest here, I don't think too many people were expecting the imported cars to be as deformable as you get from the actual Beam vehicles, and that is very much the case. I mean, okay, yeah, you can bend wheels, you can ping wheels off, you can lose bits and pieces. As far as I am aware, at the moment you cannot break engines. I haven't, in all of my tests, I haven't seen engine failures. Neither have I seen things like radiator failures and so on. While yeah, you do have brake issues. The cars are very strong. You might get impact detected, and it says stopping the car. Are we going to come back over? There we go. Oh, engine's turned off. Oh, I managed to double click that one. The engine might have turned off. It will still go. The ways you'll stop the car moving is... Actually, I think I've collapsed the suspension in the front left corner. I think I might have done quite a lot of damage there to the front left. I think I've broken the suspension. So now when we kind of turn the car, it all sort of sinks, which is not really ideal. Yeah, the cars are very strong. The cars are very strong, and damage is... I mean, it's still, let's face it, still more impressive than you'll find on most games, and this is for an imported car. This is a car that I made. Like an engine I designed and everything. I'm not quite sure where we're going here. I think this might actually be the factory. We're just gonna, well, we're gonna put the shack side back. We were trying to go back into the factory. Oh, engine's turned off. Excuse me, could you turn the engine? Oh, the engine is slightly escaping out of the car. There is also the odd spiking from the bodywork from time to time as you go through the crashes. Again. Oh, hey! Oh, we can break the engine. Okay, that's the first time I've seen an engine fail on the car. We mostly have the engine out of the front of the Saxo. But there we go. I mean, just being able to drive these cars is cool, and that was, you know, a lot of people wanted to see the ability to drive the cars that you had made on automation. So just, you know, if there had been a mode on automation where you got to drive the cars, it would have been incredible. But the fact that we get it onto Beam, and the fact that, okay, yeah, the damage is not quite up there with the official Beam cars. However, still pretty damn good. So that was the hatchback with all of its 400 horsepower front-wheel drive goodness. Now we have our 600 and something, that's 650 horsepower, I believe it was, rear-wheel drive V8 supercar, our own style V8 supercar. Of course, oh, we might be able to do will it roll off of these curbs around here. So no, yeah, okay, no assist at all from the vehicle. I just tried slamming on the brakes there, and admittedly we were sliding already. Wasn't the cleverest thing I've ever done. However, yeah, no ABS, so if you have the car set to have no assists, when you export it over, there will be none of the assists. And exporting is very straightforward. There is one button. You press the export to Beam button, and that is it. That's it. Then the car is in Beam for you to go and play around with, or crash, or try and set lap times if you want to. What? Oh god, I've got to be very careful. So I keep forgetting. Beam, when it comes to the old braking side of things, it'll be real delicate when you don't have ABS, because it's very, very easy to lock everything up. How fast do we reckon we're going to get in this? Will we cook the brakes if we aren't too careful? 140, 150, it's still going. 160 miles an hour. Oh, let's maybe get around that corner. Oh, that was a little bit scary. That was a little bit scary. And the other thing, of course, when it comes to building cars, I mean, I build cars, I build all sorts of different random weird things in automation. And a lot of the time you build it so that on paper it looks good. You build it so that the stats are impressive on paper. But when you've got to actually try and use the car, I mean, some of the vehicles I've built are basically undrivable. The V8 hatchback is not too bad at all. And to be fair, that power band in that wasn't awful. Some of the very, very big turboed, some of the very big turboed, very little engines, if that makes sense. Some of those have had just the most tremendous turbo lag. And of course, when you then have to try and drive the car, that's when it won't work. While on paper it might look like it produces 200 or 300 horsepower, when you can't use that power, and it's all completely inaccessible when you come to actually drive the car. I mean, that's kind of interesting. It's a fantastic thing to have. It's a fantastic, fantastic thing to have. This car is actually pretty good driving-wise. The suspension might be a little stiff. You can kind of see it pinging and bouncing around in a little bit of a awkward manner across some of the bumps. Oh, don't do it. It does kind of bounce around a little bit awkwardly, so it would probably be best. I think that looks like the rail. I think I spot the rail. How do I get out there? Oh, I mean, we might end up pinging over the barrier at some point, or we're going to just struggle to get turned. Now, this car, I think, would have had carbon ceramic brakes. It would have had, the full works, and we're not seeing any of that brake fade as of yet. Shall we go rallying in a V8 supercar? Oh, I'm going to also hazard a guess that your tyre selection is going to be important in this. You're going to want to get your tyre selection right if you are trying to drive a car. Whoa, that's okay. Issues might have occurred. I think that was it might have fallen off the side road a little bit to get onto this. Oh, we're also sneakily braking in. Map's still a slight work in progress. Might have broken my pretend V8 supercar. It's a bit of a poorly V8 supercar. It takes a lot to kill these vehicles. It does take a lot to stop them from moving. That's why I'm kind of surprised to see the hatchback actually got the main engine broken, because yeah, they really do just keep on going. I mean, we're doing 70 miles an hour on dirt with 3 wheels. Oh, we're about to be doing not quite that. No, we're still good. We're still working. I mean, it's pulling very badly to the left here. Uh-oh. Nope. Bugger. Bad things have got on. It's a sorry sight of a car. Oh dear. I have also gone and made. I've imported a couple of the other old cars into here to have a play around with, and I made a couple of other ones just as sort of little experimentations. So another one of the vehicles that I have imported into Beam. This was my sports car for Arcana. Basically, I guess the poorest nation of the automation areas couldn't use any kind of high-level fuel, so most of the cars that I was building wouldn't work or wouldn't run there. So I decided to try and create a cheapish sports car without using any sort of fancy parts on the car. We, of course, did have to give it a mighty wing, because, that's definitely the way to go. So now all of the mighty winged goodness can appear in Beam, and I mean, you can do mad things with cars. You can do mad things with the wings. Now this is, this is a turbocharged engine of mine. Oh, and I'm gonna need a little bit of practice. Well, I say gonna need a little bit of practice. I need to not quite build as extreme stuff, because you can kind of see. You can kind of see with this, when it's on boost, there's quite a lot of speed. When it's off boost, it's terrifying. Oh, are we going to make this turn? Yes, we are. Just about. Let's slow you down. I mean, sure, okay, stability control, traction control, and all that will smooth that out if you want to use it. Your aero parts will actually, you know, work. They will give the back of the car downforce. I don't know if the gigantic size of this wing is particularly helpful on this car. Me being a Muppet with sudden boost and sudden additional power making the car go sideways will probably counteract anything the mightiest of tables will do. Now this isn't as powerful as the hatchback, neither is it as powerful, it's nowhere near as powerful as the V8 supercar. We're up to about 130. Oh, we're not going to make that corner at 130. No, mid-table's come off. Mid-table's gone. I mean, the steering, I thought was a little bit bent. Apparently, oh, okay, yeah, the steering's a little bit. I guess where we pinged the wheel off, it managed to fall back perfectly in line so that the car was going straight down the road. I thought, that's odd. I thought the steering wasn't right, and then it's just gone and now pinged off in its entirety. Well, the tie rod's gone on that one. Apparently, we didn't build this car with particularly strong tie rods, did we? I mean, it's still just about drivable. And yeah, despite the collision, it still looks relatively okay. What happens if we plough it at 80 miles an hour into a wall? Important safety tests. Nah, we just lose the wheel, really. We crumpled up the front. I mean, the crumple zone's kind of doing the important jobs. I guess the other important test we'll have to find out is what wins in a fight between the supercar and the little hatchback, or what happens when the pair of them crash. Well, when the big V8 supercar plows into the side of it at whatever speed we're going to be able to. Oh no, we're just going to do a little bit of a warm up, a little bit of a donut to get the tyres warm. Of course, always important, and eventually we'll fling it in a straight line. Here we go, V8 supercar versus little hatchback test. I mean, that little hatchback test, I think that the hatchback would have passed pretty well. Yeah, damage-wise, the cars are pretty damn tough. That was a high-speed impact, and I mean, that one there is very broken still. This one is... I mean, it's an interesting... They deform in a slightly different way, and certainly between these and normal beam cars, there is some difference. However, just being able to drive these vehicles is fantastic, let alone with the level of detail that you do get on here. So there we go. That was a look at 3 of my vehicles from automation into BeamNG Drive. There will certainly be plenty more of me playing around with, well, I say with both games essentially, now that we can drive our own vehicles. There'll be more to come as well from me with this little sort of early access period tomorrow. There'll be some more testing of cars, some more crashing of vehicles, and more, well, silly me-designed contraptions. That, though, is going to be it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and a big thank you to the developers of Automation and Beam for getting me into this early access to play around a little bit with the vehicles. Until next time, however, a goodbye.